Well, we were supposed to do this after you came back from Winter Clash,
Mhm.
and then we were almost gonna do it, and then a power outage maybe. We were close to doing it after Winter Clash, and then did was that the power outage one? We were close,
Yeah, I think that was that.
and now we're a year out. We've sent topic lists, refined them back and forth. We have it here. It's kind of irrelevant now, and
It's
we're only 8 months out from the last one, and the
that's
topic list is irrelevant.
yeah, this feels I don't I feel like I've lost a little bit of touch with I feel like I've had a very strong sense in my head or a strong felt sense of like what the fuck is going on. And it's something I've stepped off the dock a little bit, like into something else. Um, and that yeah, that's maybe not clear enough, but yeah, it feels like I'm trying to challenge myself not to say it's such a weird time. You know, in like since COVID, that's like the it's okay to say that, and I don't think it's actually okay to say that anymore. Um, so I'm trying to say something like that, but it feels like um, okay, to be specific, like my relationship with gear has shifted, is feeling pretty good. I don't really see any lights at the end of the tunnel that are going to optimize that like much more. And I've also done a lot of skate experimentation in the last year, like actual. We can that might be something to dive into tonight, but you know my return on all of my efforts was effectively you know useless. That like none of my projects bore any fruit, and just yeah had were further disappointing. Um, so yeah. Gear is kind of absent. Skate culture has felt at a standstill to me for a long time. Um, that has something to do with videos, maybe. The last like Tate 3 was that Tate. What was the last Tate video? Tate 2. That was maybe the last video that I was like, this is an epoch defining kind of like piece of media. Um, and then on top of that, we've reached or we're approaching brand, um, peak brand population, like absolute value of brand. Uh, yeah, there are too many fucking brands.
Okay, yep, I can agree with all of this so far
Okay.
because I've tried more shit in the past while of the new, not all the new offerings, but
Yeah.
similar conclusions. Last good thing that I saw was I don't know if you saw this one. It was a parkour younger guy, not hadn't been skating for a super long time. Eggs, no, eggs movement. It was a
Mm.
really good like a solo cam, tripod cam, breaking rules of skating from a parkour perspective. I can't remember the name of the edit. I'll have to. That was the last good thing I saw. It
Is he like spinning? Is like doing like basically like breaking down. I saw a guy, it's similar camera shot who did like natural three switch three, natural five switch five, like all.
no, not that guy. No. It was like a guy who's part of a parkour crew, but put together like a really good street edit,
Oh, cool.
filmed just by himself, and even the way he grinded, it would be like Mad Beef with a bit of them skates
Yeah,
flavor with some parkour
cool.
with not skating for a long time, if that sounds exciting. Not skating for like maybe like 4 or 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And the way he looked at street spots is way different than you or I would have. So
Yeah.
that was the last good thing I saw. I'm trying to think. Oh, and that skier guy,
Sam
Sam.
Sonner.
Yes.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no
shout out
grinds. I
Sam.
don't. or some grinds, but like,
But some
but
grinds, I saw him
some,
like Royale handrail the other
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a certain feeling when I watch his skating that I haven't had since like the early ASA people who are really good at ASA.
He's got that Sean Robertson thing, like where as soon as he leaves the ramp, you're like, what? Yeah, there's a lot of surprise going on. Actually, I think he's Utah, maybe. I think he's with Reed, not so cute fruit booter, and
Oh, that guy's sick too.
John Gantz. Like that's definitely such a bright spot in. Yeah, like it's. I apologize for my fucking boomer take. Like skating lives, and thank goodness it does. So like, shut up, me. Um, but yeah, we're talking. We're speaking to something else. Um, and yeah, it's great that we can that there's still these bright spots, which like that to me is a very obvious one. Like whatever is going on there is
Yeah,
great. I
yeah,
hope to go skate there someday.
yeah. A cup, but yeah, I agree with you too. The
And
stay.
Cal also,
Oh,
Cal,
Cal Carson.
correct? Yes.
Yeah, who I think was at Blading Cup with maybe part of that crew. I'm not sure. Their ski
Yep.
videos are amazing. Child labor videos. We haven't talked about this before. We don't have to go down this side trail, but you may disagree, but sometimes skiing does a better job of rollerblading than rollerblading does, if that makes any sense.
Say a little bit more about what you mean. I have an idea, but I'd like to hear you
In terms of
elaborate.
like classic videos in rollerblading history, like Coup d'etat, Brain Fear Gone, stuff like that, where it seems like the rollerblading style was very defined, and we kind of look to that
Mhm.
as this is the best skating was. Could be boomer take. Skiing just seems to do that very well, even though they don't have all of the grinds we do. Just the hammers that they do, the way they do street skiing, the style, the arm
Maybe
control.
like they continue to push the level of what's agreed upon as like the genuine article of skiing, or
Yes.
like to continue to push that. Whereas we've kind of done like we sort of reached a like to take it to like an art analogy. Like there was a period of like realism and like objective difficulty, and then we've sort of like veered into like an impressionistic kind of era rather than like keeping that classic era like alive throughout the timeline.
Yeah, and I mean the Billy O'Neill edit last year had a bit of that flavor.
Big time. Yep.
So it still exists, but
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of ski videos that if you just squint, it feels like you're watching a new Mind Game 4x4 coup d'etat.
Right.
Again,
Yeah.
I could be sounding like a boomer right now. As much as I love creative skating and everything, I am a fan of the peak of skating.
Yeah. Go watch that stuff. It's undeniable. Like and for it's not without reason. Like that there's something about that is deeply unsustainable.
Yeah.
Um and Another thing that was compelling to me in recent history that I didn't include in my boomer take was like being at the New York event recently, MetroCard and the them pop up. Like there was at the Banks session, there's like that guy. His Instagram handle is like Vladimir with like three M's. There's a guy from the UK who was skating Aeons, Vitzman, everyone who was like skating the down rail, especially there was like a classic era down rail session going on, like full true top soyal, full true top one by the British guy. Sorry, I'm awful with names. Somebody in the comments, put his name in the comments, please, or his Instagram handle. Uh, and then yeah, like they very clearly like want the presence of like the art of down rail skating to be present in the current like dialect. um and I'm as a person who was like supremely dedicated to that part of skating for a lot of my skating history until I started dislocating my shoulder chronically. Like I'm so thrilled that people are dedicated to that aspect of skating in that way. Just like unabashedly, this is what I want to see. I want to see fucking tricks on down rails. Additionally, seeing it reflected through Witzman as one of those people who has I think one of his gifts to skating is like his grind positions are very like they're super enunciated. He's like the postures are fucking good. They look cool. The connection with what he's doing, it's all loaded consistently, and so yeah, that made me thrilled to see that, and it felt like a welcome addition, to the catalog of things happening. More so than the postmodern stuff, right, and the more footworky stuff and the creative, that in some ways that's become like dominant cultural. So it's cool to see people going like, yeah, great, we love this fucking knick-knack bullshit, but like give me some down rail whatever. I've made this claim on this podcast before of people like make your case, right? Like make your case for the kind of skating you want to see.
Well, I think skate poems are trending down anyway.
Yes, skate poems are way down. This is like, we've had an era of like, did you ever see So I Married an Axe Murderer, Mike Myers?
No, but I know of it.
It's just like 90s porn, basically, like 90s culture porn, where like the cups of coffee are like these big soup bowls that everybody's drinking out. Lots of like wiggly lines, and the movie starts out with like a guy playing a bass, like boom, 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 boom. And, Mike Myers is doing like a spoken word thing, and it's just such a like that's the skate poem era where it's like guy with striped shirt and large coffee, shouting his spoken word poems into a fucking hollow void.
A light sprinkle of skate poetry is kind of where I'm feeling lately. A little bit of skate poetry.
It's like poems have great power, and to quote Uncle Ben from Spider-Man 1, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
So yeah, to all my fellow skate poets out there, yeah, use your words wisely and accurately if you can.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
How many different brands of skates did you see? So there's a lot of fucking brands.
Mm-hmm.
Winter Clash, you would have seen a lot of brands. At like an event like New York, what did you observe? If you look at that stuff at all, maybe you didn't notice, or was every brand on display on people's feet? Was it that confusing?
It was not. It was way less confusing than Winter Clash. Like, I didn't see a single Cougar skate at New York. At the New York event.
A lava skate?
I didn't see a single lava skate. No, I would have been happy to. I'm a big French Brothers fan, not like earnest French Brothers fan. So,
Echo?
I don't think I saw a single Echo, though. Echo had a good, strong presence in Amsterdam.
Okay. I'm trying to.
I liked their energy. It was definitely like a crew energy. I still don't know that I haven't put enough actual research or communication to understanding what they're about, but I met some of the dudes involved in it, and I liked what they were up to. So they definitely have a place in, like I liked what they were doing. If I could have seen myself, if I was adjacent to a brand in that way, or was like my buddy's brand or something, I loved the enthusiasm that they had and like the shared energy. So good for them.
I'm probably getting ahead of myself with that question though. So
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think
no.
it's worth touching on.
Okay.
The only person I saw riding Roses that I remember was Mark Voida, and Um, Mark Voida was like, to me, he looked like he was having an incredibly angry day. And I haven't spoken with Mark in many years, so I have no idea what he was actually up to. But he looked like he was unhappy and having a tough day skating around the edge of the park. And then out of nowhere, he just charged I don't think anyone filmed this. And I didn't see anyone else do anything near, like close to this. He charged the van that had the ramp going up to it. He jumped over the entire van and the rail and 180'd into the 90-degree
What?
bank ramp at the end. Like people were like they would grind the whole van and then like Sean like top sold or fish brained into the it's huge. Anyway, he looked like he was having a nervous breakdown and then he jumped like 50% bigger and further than anybody else on skates that looked like they were made of mush. So yeah, Mark Voida is a fucking stud.
Doesn't he always looks pretty angry when he skates?
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's having a great deal of fun, but I think he is. Mark Voida is like, yeah, I've seen skating with him in years past was a very impressive, incredibly impressive. Yeah, I think he's one of the most like underappreciated, highest peak skaters that we ever observed.
I'm trying to think. He put out a somewhat newer part in the last few years. Am I thinking?
I
Or
think so.
or am I getting that wrong? And I'm also thinking of some kind of a top sole that recurs on Instagram, or soling a rail to a huge gap to a
Yeah,
down
yeah, yeah.
rail
Like
is like,
up a handicap thing, like
yeah,
over a thing. Yeah,
yeah, that's
that.
the first thing I think of when I think of him. Like just kind of a superhuman. Most people wouldn't see something there to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. I mean, like the cab true fish stuff he used to do. His section, he had a section in that video, Yellow, I think it was called.
Yep.
Like Blake Sandifer, I think was the guy that made them. He did like Orange and Yellow, I think were the videos that come to mind. And particularly the one where he's skating in M12s is like some of the most objectively absurd skating. Yeah. Voida.
Okay, you
Yeah.
see, Ben, when I call myself a below average skater, the amount of people who are extremely good at skating that don't even get uttered when people talk about like the top 10, the top 20, there's people who are so good who still don't get enough credit, like that name, like Mark. There's a
Yep.
lot of guys like that all over the world. There's even people who haven't been filmed that were like the best guy in their town,
Oh
you
yeah, those
know?
guys, the hidden bosses. Hidden bosses rule.
So that's when I say that, it's up against all of that.
Sure. No, you make a very fair point, and I would categorize myself in the same way based on that particular rubric. But it depends what you're valuing. Where like you might look at someone, not to glaze you too much, but like the introduction of all sorts of novel movements to the canon. Uh, you know, I mean, come on, give yourself a little credit. Uh,
Not enough to fill a poetry book.
Not maybe not, but also like uh, skating has not commonly been valued as an endurance activity, but being able to maintain, choosing a strategy that allows this to be a long distance race.
Yep. Maybe I
Yeah. So
should. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah.
But maybe I should just try and form a rage ball in my chest and see, just skate around the outer circumference of the park for a little bit, form a rage in my
Well,
chest and see what I can do if that's Mark. Like if that's he was doing something there. If he was just skating around looking mad,
mhm.
I might have to tap into that and then I might be able to go above average.
That's correct. Form a rage circle.
Holy shit, that's a good idea.
Skate Crisis 6. Form a rage circle. There you go. That's a thumbnail for you.
Is that I don't know much about like hardcore music. That is that one of the names of the pits?
Because I'm clearly the expert.
Well, you have music. No, I have a lot of music knowledge, but I don't know. There's names of certain kinds of pits. There's got to be Rage Circle has maybe been
Yeah,
uttered at some.
that seems like that's been perhaps someone has stepped across that before, but I think you did a really good job coming up with that.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
So when we were asking in original Skate Crises for things that we were looking for,
yeah,
we've already touched on T-neck, I think,
hmm
the only sole frame skate.
yeah,
Cuffs that work, we're doing pretty good with that one. I would say the Aeon 80s that I got, the Salvia ones,
yeah,
they don't, the cuff is the same.
yeah.
It,
They look cool, which
it,
almost gets them there. They look cool enough
yes.
to address our asks. I think this is like it's worth cycling. Like I think this project has had some positive impact. Like I have people from skate brands have reached out and seem interested in some of the things that we're talking about. And I think we've done a pretty decent job at role playing that, like what we know what we're talking about manufacturing and shit like that, as much as anybody else. Also because the reality is that like in this current manufacturing era, which we'll discuss to some degree, like the gap between us and in my mind as a child there was some like skate engineer with a clipboard, like lining stuff up and thinking about what's ergonomic in a skate, and that's just never existed. Like there's never been like some sort of this discipline is basically like fake. Like
There was maybe a little bit of that with some of the corporate brands.
it's possible that they hired people to do certain things that had an opinion based on skiing or based on
Yeah.
hockey. Some decisions were made at some point, but I think more of the reality is that like we and many other outdoor disciplines are relying on like open mold technology, and you know, uh, repurposing layers on top of other layers and making the best of it. And yeah, I think we're in a like things have landed kind of where they're going to land. And there's like some things to be optimistic about. I find the new them soul very, very good. And I was not a person asking for that. Like I was pleased with the old soul. Um, that's a thing that I'm enjoying. Um, yeah, I think we've sufficiently discussed the T-neck, but I also am like I'm very pro T-neck. I think they're not far off from like a highly usable skate. And again, kudos to them for bravely entering the soul frame era. Though didn't personally like there were parts of it that didn't work for my massive disgusting body. My all 275 pounds of me.
Damn.
I don't weigh that much. Well, you're fucking kill. You have no idea how much that weighs anyway with your Canadian metric. Uh, we use freedom units here in these. Anyway, yeah,
Well, sorry, they're making a new skate too,
they are making a new skate.
which is feels insane. But
Yes.
I keep forgetting that that's something that's happening. So, but you can keep going.
Well, no, that's I think probably why I didn't mention it is because it's a UFS skate, which it shouldn't be what keeps me from mentioning them. It sounds like it'll be a like I think I saw maybe some prototype clips on like Duran's page. Duran is so fucking good at skating. Also, you see him do like topsoul 540 true topsoil on
No,
like
I
a
didn't.
little thing the other day.
No,
Yeah,
he's good at skating and he's good at talking.
very charming.
Yeah.
He's a remarkably charming man. Um, yeah. Anyway, his skating continues to impress me, and he rehabbed like a pretty serious leg break last year.
Yeah,
So
quickly. That he was back
yeah,
much quicker than I would have imagined. Yeah.
totally. And yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm on the internet commenting to people recovering from injuries, like, "Way to go, skateability guy! He's proud of you." And he's like, "Whatever, dude. Shut the fuck up. I'm fine. Leave it
That
alone."
encouragement's important.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Um, yeah, so we'll see what that looks like. Yep, I think their general sensibility deviates a little bit from like I don't love the groove, but some people seem to love the groove. Some of my favorite, like, um, yeah, again, John Gantz and Reed, not so cute, Fruit Booter, two of my favorite like current dudes doing it, both riding
Oh,
stuff.
not so cute fruit booter. Oh, was he the one who jumped? He's like it was like three ledge jumps and then kind of slapped into a rail front side. Do you know this
Yeah.
Instagram clip I'm talking about? He
Yep.
didn't jump. He like flicked off his heels into the front side on the rail after
Yes.
doing, yeah, similar thing where like I would never would have thought of doing that trick that way at all. I love when people slap. It's not like a slappy, but it was like a heel flick front side.
Yeah, he's an incredible skier too, and lots of his movements are just really novel. Skates really fucking fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think it's cool that they have. I like thinking about skating almost like a like different people having like different martial arts. I've mentioned this at some point on our casts together, but that like what's happening in Utah and a few of the folks involved in TNEC to me indicate that kind of thing where it's like, well, there's very clearly like a physical culture amongst this crowd, and that gets me really excited. Like I'm far more, I like seeing that far more than I like to see way more like superficial identity things. Like we all wear these kinds of clothes or we all do this kind of thing. Like yeah, it's way more interesting to see something that's like rooted in skating, rooted in movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Aeon cuff was apparently fixed for one size. I don't, there's the new Sam Crofts. Did,
Eric tested that. Eric Stokely tested that, and we did not find it to be true. Um, Supposedly it's on the 10 and a half or 10-11 or whatever it is, which is the biggest, the most egregious cuff.
yeah.
And yeah, it looked exactly the same to me. Um, and Eric actually like modified his to bring them in tighter, and I I put them on one time and they felt. Eric's really good at skate mod stuff that is tasteful and not obvious. Like my all of my skate mod stuff is really aggressive and yeah, doomed to fail in most cases. Um, so yeah, I think the other like we discussed Soul Frame. We have one, though it leaves some things to be desired to my sensibility. I'm not optimistic we're going to see Soul Frames that I'm interested in trying. I still believe it's the answer, but yeah, I'm kind of like putting that one down for now. I made, I put Kaiser Soulframe. Anyone that follows me on Instagram will have seen this, but Kaiser Soulframe. I first did a Justin Thursday heel raise and custom hardware from McMaster.com, who is not a sponsor of the show, by the way. No shout out to McMaster.com, but their hardware is very good. Um, I mounted them. That was too mushy because the bottom of that boot is just mush without support. And then Justin Thursday, who is a certifiably excellent dude, made me a midsole because I became convinced that we might be entering a midsole era. Again, I was wrong. Um, in this almost worked, but I think it just indicated what to take a urethane based boot, polyurethane composite boot of some variety, which is very squishy, um, and have it meet a very rigid, flat platform, the demands for what a midsole would be or how those two things interface in a way that's actually usable is a taller order than I think, perhaps if Justin and I did 5 or 6 variations of it, maybe tested a few different materials. I mean, you're really starting to look at like what would be a new product, like a midsole skate, and I think you start to ask for some kind of like, hybrid material that's like a sound and impact dampening base plate kind of thing. And like, it's just, you start getting in there are lots of incredible things that we can accomplish with 3D printing, but I think mostly they serve as like mock-up agents that would need to be, invested in more deeply with really specific tech. And it's like, yeah, I'm just a fucking guy in a garage, like slapping old shit together. So yeah, I tried that, which, yeah, indicated multiple problems. Also, like it ended up being heavier than the stock setup, which it doesn't work. I tried some angled soles, which require some more testing from me, but the principal challenge I had with them is just that my feelings about ride height are that like any increase to ride height is something that I can't tolerate. I think they're on to something. And I think they introduce, I think depending on how they're executed, like in which skate, there are certain kinds of skaters that I think would benefit from them incredibly. I think my skating is it's based on small soles. Like a lot of my postures are based on really leaning into what I'm doing. And I felt a bit like they kind of try to introduce that condition to people who are maybe not trained for it. So it didn't feel like a natural transition to me, but I have more testing to do with them, which I will do. They were like very gracious to send them to me. So I intend to test them appropriately. And additionally, with that, like people making hardware are deserve respect. Like it's a very hard thing to execute hardware appropriately. It's fucking expensive. It's risky. Rollerbladers are fucking annoying.
Myself included. Yep.
Yeah, we're so annoying.
We are.
So yeah, like I just I earnestly want I want people to succeed, and I want this to be a market for which there's like choice, that can allow people to have options in a business and whatever else ways to continue to contribute to the fabric of this.
Also, shout out to is it the Dino VFR? Is it the YouTube channel? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Steve's aka Alf's YouTube channel is really good.
It's really good. It's
really good.
Yeah, it's underrated in the YouTube universe for rollerblading. Some really good reviews. So he did angled soles. Yeah, go look at it. It's very good.
I think that for me, the gem of his channel is this, like the Blade Texture series, which is like very intimately documents certain aspects of like Philly skating in an era that I shared with Steve. And I can attest that like his account is not only very good, but it documents a certain thing that Steve was very aware of. Like Steve has had an ability to sort of like be an intermediary between all different like groups. Like there's something that many people, he talks about this in some of his videos, and it will sound ridiculous to people today, but like skating in Philly in that era, it was very common to roll up to a popular spot and there might be 3 or 4 other crews of rollerbladers.
That's so funny to think about.
And you wouldn't even talk to them. Like you just wouldn't fuck with them. Yeah, like, and there were some competitive elements to it. Sometimes some parts of it were just like whatever. I don't even know. It was just like there was just a lot going on. Um, but a big credit to Steve as an individual. Like he has he has a streak of like mediator in him that I think wanted to like join groups. And Steve put on like like street comps back in the day, and um, yeah, I really like seeing him continue to kind of like find and hone his voice and like contribute to skating. Yeah, it's great. Huge. I love that guy and I love his channel. So yeah, big shout out to Steve.
And he uses the fuck out of the products.
He uses the living fuck out of the product. Man, that guy
We
is
could all learn something from how his skates look. Like
yeah.
yeah. I want to have a pair of skates that I skate so much that they look like that, or frames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great everyone with products, send them to Steve so he can beat the fuck out of them. Because I'm such a pig. And also, Steve will run something into the ground when he hates it, like where if I hate something, it's got about 7 minutes and I'm going to be like yelling at it to random people on the train, about, can you believe the sidewalls on this frame is so thin? Like why would you make something like that? Like, yeah, please stop talking to me.
Yeah. This is part of our problem.
Yeah, it is.
And then mounting. So you haven't tried some of these skates, but I haven't tried Echo, but the mounting hardware for UFS on Echo, Faction, Standard, all greatly improved
Oh, cool.
for the sole and the UFS bolts and the sole being attached to a piece of metal that kind of holds everything together better. There's been
That's awesome.
advancements that way. So it's not necessarily a sole frame, but we've come a long way from there's two bolts through a slab of plastic.
Yeah.
And the 909 does really well, even though the bolts are still, like the UFS bolts don't go up through the skate. I think they would be marginally improved if they did. But yeah, the 901, how you described it, you sold me on trying it because of the base of support thing, which I do. I haven't fully dialed them in, but I did feel it's because of the PP, the plastic.
Yeah.
There's no flex to the skate, so it's very rigid on how it feels. You feel the like here's the sole, here's the boot. You feel that flex between the boot and the sole less in the 901 because of the plastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a good spot to sort of like pause on this, I think, because I am very clearly like I'm most satisfied with the 901 in a way that like I did not expect to be interested in it. Because in my head, price point skate, whatever, bigger sole, like unknown plastic, like yeah, whatever, I didn't expect to be interested in it. And for me, it's my favorite of the them skates, like by a lot. I think it has a lot to do with the way that temperature affects plastic, the way that a person's weight, right? I weigh like 214. I feel far sturdier and more stable in them and more consistent. Even right, I rode them Annie Rocker when I first rode them.
Oh yeah, I
And
was going to ask you about that.
yeah,
How that went.
it didn't last long, but it actually was like a really successful experiment to me. I only did it for like 2 sessions, but and I found Creates the most enjoyable. I tried the Kaiser Fluid Fives.
Oh, you
and
did in the
yeah,
260 or
yeah,
258, 260.
correct. Um, I don't know why, but I enjoyed the Creates more.
Really?
Yeah, I was really
Two
surprised.
264, right?
264,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, Creates are lower. I noticed that. Um, and yeah, they just felt right on. For me, there's a line with Annie Rocker that like um, the skate will tilt, like it will go over the wheel before it will engage the skate effectively. Like there's a certain wheelbase for which the skate will like engage the cuff appropriately, and then you can tilt, toe or heel. And there's a certain wheelbase that's sufficiently short that you will tilt before the skate will engage. And there's somewhere in that line between 264 and 258 that it's just this like smidge too thin. God, I'm fucking annoying. Anyway, but the success of the experiment to me was what riding anti-rocker tells you about efficiency. And well, it's like twofold. One, I'm finding I am enjoying my skates with the stuff that I want to do most in a way that fails your warped frame test. Like a skate will ride how I want it to in a condition that looks mildly anti-rocker with a flat setup, but middle wheels won't quite touch when it's unloaded. When it's loaded, everything's on the ground. But like I find this because like I really like skating bowls, for instance, and I like the efficiency that comes from a non-rockered setup. And yeah, that efficiency was really indicated to me where like times when I would ride anti-rocker in the past and I'd really feel the railroad tracks. Like I'd constantly be feeling that resistance that comes up when you're leaning against the railroad tracks. And I was reminded or introduced maybe, for the first time that your goal is to always, if you're feeling any drag, you're skating wrong. Like you need to set up a circumstance where you're never allowing that drag to happen, whether it's, tilting toe and heel or, single skate, whatever it is, like that drag is feedback that you're skating inefficiently.
That's a really good point that isn't discussed very often.
I felt the same way. Like it's up to you. It's a skill issue. Because you can go watch Stu, go watch fucking Alex. Like
this is the problem though. You watch them and they're so good at it that you realize your skill set for skating in anti-rocker is you get anti-rocker, you watch Stu and Broskell, you're like, I'm going to get anti-rocker, I'm going to love it.
Yep.
And then you feel the knee twist.
Yep. Yeah.
You can fuck, like, there's probably people that are just like minorly fucking up their knees in their mid 40s skating anti-rock, like a little bit heavier, just twisting their knee a little bit from bad form. That heel toe thing you're talking about, pedaling and skiing, how they control their grinds.
Yep.
Pushing, that's a huge part of anti-rocker.
It's a massive part of anti-rocker. And I think the goal, like, it's one of those things that's kind of funny about skating, that like, I think a lot of what we do is sleight of hand, that like you have to limit certain movements that we do that are just they're just like not appropriate, basically. Like, it's very hard. Like we're in a postmodern era where there's lots of, the canon has been deconstructed a number of times and there's plenty of ways to introduce all sorts of patterns, but like it's hard to make an open hip situation look good. I've actually been trying that one a lot with like I often start fakie or start like side stance, like hockey style, like it's a really useful skill to be able to, to be able to develop movement options from that open hip position, but to be just rolling in a comically open hip position is like, it's not aggressive skating, or it's non-canonical.
But like, I don't have it on hand, but if we were to freeze a John Elliott shuffle.
Exactly.
He did it and made it look good.
He straight up, like, he didn't wiggle walk. He like wonk.
He was open and it looked amazing.
Yeah, he really was.
But it was like a magic trick where he was distracting with the way the rest of his body looked leading up and then where he landed on the trick.
Precisely why I use the term sleight of hand. because it's like there has to be something where there's like, you're not seeing me pull the Ace of Hearts out of, my sleeve or whatever else it is.
And Broskow did one. Fuck, was that in a what was that edit? He did it was the one Broskow footwork thing. It was his one comment on it was to an in-spin soul or something. Do you know what I'm talking
Hilarious.
about?
No, I'd love to see it now though, but I love the way that you phrased it, that it's like the one editorial article we get from Alex Roscoe Esquire on the footwork movement.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it was
yeah,
one of the best ones, and it was an anti-rocker.
amazing.
And you could just study him the way he's placing the weight on the heel and toe. It's
Yeah,
also the surface too. So there's certain surfaces where an anti-rocker you can make it look like you're skating flat a
yeah,
little bit more.
completely.
So that could have been it. But God, we're dorks.
Yeah, we jumped right into it today. Well, welcome back to Skate Crisis, guys.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah,
So the things that we're asking for, I think we went through all of that. Uh, the icon is people are probably sick of hearing me. Oh, am I frozen? What
you
the
look
fuck?
frozen to me. Yeah,
Shit.
I hear you just fine.
You hear me? Okay, well, I'll just stay frozen like that. The icon, people are probably sick of hearing me talk about the icon and skating it. I haven't figured it out. I understand all the tech that went into it. It's kind of an impressive skate, but it's a bizarre skate. I don't know what else to say. We had it on the original list. So just without trying that skate, how do you feel about that skate? Or did you look at it at Winter Clash?
I've looked at it a number of times, and the first time I saw it was at last year's Blade Cup, and Montre had them, and I thought, looks cool, looks like a skate, um, looks like a skate that works. Um, he was riding creates on them, which looked good, flat. Um, I saw the potential for whatever Kaiser Soul Frame stuff was, supposedly coming down the way. So I thought the marketing of it looked cool, even like the wizardy frames that they were putting on it. It seemed like a smart move. Um, there's something I associate with, like, I've noticed in a couple power slide videos that they like focus on their like one engineer guy who's like designing the suspension frames and that kind of stuff. And I don't know anything. I don't know anything about this guy. But some part of me is like blaming him for these products that are like 90% of the way there. And like literally, if you know this guy, I'm not actually blaming it on him. I'm just recognizing how stupid I am and where I place my blame. But I've noticed in a couple of videos, they're like, "Hey, we've got so and so here doing this. Here's like the suspension frame that has no fucking sidewalls and a stupid fucking groove, and uh, there isn't a single like working frame anyway. So why are we adding more shit to it? Um, and there's no skates that this soul frame can mount to, except maybe the icons. And it sounds like the icon. And there's like 60 ways to fucking organize the flex system on them or something, right?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I can't fuck options. Like just make it good. Uh, yeah, I can't stand. I think perhaps it's been uh my this will also sound sexist, so pardon me. I'm really stepping in it here tonight. But I believe I've used up my decision fatigue as a modern gentleman in the world in my relationship history, uh, by selecting restaurants and making every decision for the partnerships that I've been in. I don't want to decide my cuff stiffness. Just make the fucking good one for the 15 minutes of joy I get to have a day when I slip into my skates, instead of making me select between 16 different cuff stiffness options. It's your job. You had one job. Make a good cuff. Yeah, I actually feel very strongly about that. Power slide. Make a good cuff. Make one good cuff.
The Mesmer is probably the closest. I haven't tried to sway. But also like boiling the
No, no, no,
fins.
no, no. Actually,
Did
hold
you?
on. I've seen the back of the cuff of a sway, especially on the larger than 10, when they come up and you could see the whole fucking exposed back. I don't care. That cuff could literally like yeah, it could do all sorts of things for me, and I would still fucking veto it because it looked like bullshit.
Oh, I forgot to say about the Aeon 80 cuff. It was fine in colder temperatures. As soon as I skated in the heat, it became the noodle again.
God damn it, man. I
And
was
so, and
feeling
then
you, Joey. Now I'm pissed off.
sorry about that. And then the faction cuff is still an off the shelf cuff only because it's, I guess it costs the money to make the molds. But if Clark is listening, just make sure whatever cuff you make, it just has to be flush to the boot.
Did you skate the plastics?
Yes.
What did you think? How'd you do?
First session was really good because it was on the yellow curb. It was in them frames flat. Really enjoyed them.
Nice.
The mounting hardware, like the response from the mounting hardware being big metal pieces, where with the sole bolts and the UFS bolts, what I talked about earlier, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of like did Solomon have something like that? I can't remember. Closest thing I felt to REMS, maybe like if somebody's looking like for a REMS type skate. But as soon as I went to skate them at the park and had to jump on a higher object, there was so much looseness in the cuff area that my position that I wanted to land in on the grind, there could be a micro thing happening with my foot where I like miss the Royale or, and they felt a little like a delay, like almost heel lift in the liner. Like when I went to jump, the liner almost wanted to come out of the skate
Yeah.
because of the cuff. So there's no matter how tight I do, but I do understand there will be certain people who really like that amount of flex and
Yeah.
yeah, it's not exactly like a REMS, but if they're looking for something like that, but it wasn't for me that I've it's turned out as I've gotten older that I do like a much more supportive skate.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything like if you buy one of the new skates, you're gonna get something that works pretty good, I guess. But I don't know, you have to find something that you really love to skate.
Hmm.
I'm confused about it all, honestly. That it was pointless. It feels pointless for me to try all of these things. I don't know what I was looking for by trying all of the options.
Hmm.
I yeah.
I feel like my sense is like you're kind of a Christ-like figure, actually, Joey. Um, I don't know what that makes me now that I think about it, being the mildly narcissistic person that I am. In the Christ-like story of Joey, am I like Judas or am I? I think I'm probably one of the apostles. Um, anyway, yeah. Anyway, you're willing to protect us, all of us, from these options, and you also have I think you're a very good objective. You provide an objective lens that's neutral on a sort of number of levels, and that also connects to your like the things that you're actually interested in doing on skates are neutral between a number of sources, but all of them have to do with like uh, how a skate responds. Um, and it's perhaps too nebulous a term, but like I would say the opposite of that would be like how easy does this skate get down to a boot so that you can do a torque on your PVC box. You know, like so I think it's important that you are the person occupying this role that you've made for yourself. Um,
I'm not believing you right now.
I'm being
Okay.
I know I mean it like you're not like yeah, like one of your alter egos would have to be the person that's like, "Yo, what up? It's Joe Gary. This date's like real good for doing torques. Make sure you follow me
Oh
on."
fuck! I gotta put those back up.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
probably
no. Sorry, Joe, Gary, and Rod Kinney have died. We announced it. Sorry.
these guys. Yeah, not coming back.
No. Um. The it's the feel of it skating around, the feel of it doing simple grinds,
Yep.
grinds feeling somewhat like they should. The grind posture has to feel like somewhat close to how you learned the grind posture when you had your first pair of skates a long
Yeah.
time ago. So, not
Yeah,
too
it
much
feels like
plastic added to the skate.
there's all sorts of punishing. Sorry, we got a little cat fight going on
Oh,
here.
sorry. Oh,
Not your fault.
I don't know. I was being Canadian there.
Oh, pardon. Um,
But this is something I was going to bring up. I've been thinking a lot about how it doesn't matter now. Like, if my mood is pretty good, I know I kind of like the skate that I'm skating,
mhm.
and I'm not thinking too much about anything. So the options thing is a great point that I definitely don't. It was funny that a lot of the icon reviews were people just like, oh,
Yeah.
like it fucked a lot of people up because it was like it can do all these things, but like I don't even want to have to try all of the things that it
Yeah.
can do.
If I recall correctly, there were a few people that were sort of brought to their, like I think Ricardo Lino was and Wheel Scene guy were both like, I think I might be like good on review. I think I might just like, I don't think I'm gonna do this anymore. I
In
think
a
that was
way,
your response too, right?
yeah, in a way, we can thank the skate for that.
Wow,
Um,
that would be really sick to be the skate that like ended review era. Yeah,
that it's never gonna go away.
I know.
I know watching David from Wheel Scene, I had this moment where I was like, God, am I doing this to show that I'm good at skating to people? Like, is it not about reviewing the skates? Am I just trying to film myself skating to look like I'm good at skating? It was this moment. It was watching Wheel Scene. It was like, it's not about the skate review. It's like an excuse to try hard at skating. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But though you and I are going to have different perspectives on this because I see that as a gift to us that you have whatever reason to do it. Because I don't think it matters what the reason is. Like I'm my opinion about this goes much wider than gear in that the nebulous circumstance that produces a great session makes increasingly less sense to me. Like a few weeks ago, I had a chance to go skate with my buddy Billy Anderson, and Billy has two kids, and he's got like a fucking big time career. Uh, he's got like a 30 other hobbies. He's like an ultra marathon runner. He races motorcycles. He's like handsome. He could do whatever he could do whatever he wants.
And he
He
still skates?
he still skates, and he's very good. Uh, and yeah, anyway, the sun shines on you when you get to hang out with Billy. Um, and yeah, I wake up feeling like dog shit. It's like half raining, but I'm like, no, whatever. Billy, we made this skate date. I'm going. And then we went and had like an all day mission, drove all over the fucking place, like got pictures. Billy jumped on top mistrial on this huge fucking rail, like coming off the highway. Uh, yeah, I drank like 4 cups of coffee before I left the house and ate like 600 milligrams of ibuprofen. Uh, well, I had a legendary day. So my take on like it doesn't matter is more like I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, my increasingly it actually seems like if it seems unlikely that I'm gonna have a good time, if I just hang on, magic might happen. Um, so I feel kind of encouraged by that. Whereas in years past, I used to really need to feel like I was sharp and like I was ready, kind of looking at like an athletic experience or something. Whereas it feels more like the guy who plays a really great round of darts, but he's got to have like 6 beers in him for him to like really hit that stride. Um, yeah, I wouldn't know because I don't have any fun. I just feed myself chicken and uh, protein powder. But it sounds like yeah, maybe those guys having 6 beers are having a good time. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I not only are the choices becoming less important for skates, but the mood thing is getting more complicated as I get older. There's
Yeah.
sessions that I think are going to be awful that are amazing. There's sessions where I feel like I don't want to skate or question skating for the first 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
then that slow rolling around and not expecting much from it turns into
Mhm.
something good. All and I don't remember thinking of any of this stuff when I was younger at all.
This is kind of, I think this is an interesting jumping off point because I think to something I've wanted to talk about, which is that like I think part of what comes with that younger, there's so much. This is the way that I felt when I was younger. Like there's so much material that felt obvious that I wanted to work on. Something like this could be like, oh, this week I watched Latimer do a torque sole, and I want to do a torque sole just like Latimer. Um, which could this is like 70% of my sessions in my entire life probably is having recently watched the Dustin Latimer clip uh, and then deciding that that's all that I need to do. Um, and now in recent years, I actually feel less like that strategy feels less useful to me and more like I need to put myself in a state where I'm not I'm not trying to make myself perform like I know what a rollerblader does and more like put myself in a space to do something else. Because I think one of the great benefits of this era that we're in is that we have a lot of examples of people doing things that I think these skates are actually better suited for than like trying to make a flat setup, do a good front farf on a ledge or something, like that doesn't actually work. There's like or top sides in general, there's like all these things that we hacked them into doing that you can get away with. But even so, like becoming a skater who can topside difficult obstacles or further, like, there's this is where I commonly will observe, Sean, who's one of my favorite skaters and a close friend of mine, and I'll see him do something, and for some reason I'll put in my head that it's like, okay, if Sean can do it, there's a chance that you can do it, which in my case is completely not true. Like I'm my skating and my movement patterns and whatever else are so dissimilar to Sean. He might as well like be a gazelle, and I'm like a fucking rhinoceros or something. Like like never they're not worth they're not worth sharing material or anything because like not that Sean would ever want to use any of my material, but like it's not worth me trying to go like, yeah, Sean got that. I'll mess with that angle on this thing that I'm doing. And it's like, no, you won't, you dumb fuck. You're not gonna do that at all. Um yeah, what was I saying? Right. So uh this leaning more towards things that like these tools that we have might actually be suited for. I think that's something that like everyone should be it's a meta question that I would hope more people are asking in their personal crises, and I want to like empower people to ask it at a more fundamental level, where instead of going like there's lots to gain by looking around at the people who inspire you and using this tool of mimicry, which is there's nothing shallow about it. Like it's how we learn. It's a great movement tool to use. I also want to encourage people to like, yeah, use a spirit of like, yeah, some kind of utopian spirit, right? That's like you could build a better world today with what you have, and like skating is all around you, uh, in ways that you're not thinking of because you're convinced that it has to look like, you know, like what someone else is doing on a more ideal spot or something like that. Um, yeah, and your environment forges that too, you know, like having an environment that has less ideal spots, or you know, all of to me all of the true greats were forged in like some non-ideal circumstance, and they leaned into it, you know, and like took the special things that you get from non-ideal conditions.
You had a note on the original list, not working against your skates or body. Is that related to that?
Completely related to that. Yeah, like doing things that feel obvious or inviting, and prioritizing that as a trick rather than going like, um, yeah, like just some. If you give yourself permission to look at certain tricks that we do through a different lens and just go like, that's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for me, this is the alley-oop topsoul. Like, and if I was better looking, cooler, uh, I wouldn't make this argument. If I could just do alley-oop topsouls and just be be better at my craft, I wouldn't have to come up with this like fucking obnoxious workaround. That being said, like, and I've used this example in the past, but like, if something requires wrist guards, like to do at all, maybe it's not for you. And everyone's line is different. I'm a person who wears shin guards, for instance. Like
Wow,
most,
I don't know if I knew that about you, Ben.
yeah, you just thought my legs were giant tree trunks.
Yes.
Yep, and you were like, he just wears big pants because no, I wear big pants to hide my shin guards. But at least I'm not. And to all you people out there showing off your shin guards, have some fucking respect.
I don't know if I can get into that one. Although for some reason, knee pads over the pants. I don't know, Arlo skating a vert ramp, not for street skating.
Yeah, there's something kind of cute about that. I can
Yeah,
get that with
cute
that.
is cute is probably the right word. But yeah, no shin guards over the pants. We can't. No, I can't sign off on that one.
Here's my shin outside shin pants, guys. Hey, it's Ben. Uh, thanks for coming. You already won the lottery. You made it here on this planet with skates. It's the odds are unbelievable. You've got all your toes, maybe. Just hide them. Just hide your shin guards. Put on a different kind of pants. You'll thank me in the morning.
You'll feel better.
You'll feel so much better, and
Yeah.
we'll feel better too. Um,
It looks like part of the skate as a visual person.
right? You're
That's
like, so those go up to the knee.
yeah.
Those
That
go all the way damn up there.
this actually captures another note that you had here
Okay.
is that kind of relates the faction, my faction experience.
Uh-huh.
REMS as well. Learn bad habits from non-optimal setups. So I think if there are certain dads that will get the faction, and if you like just doing every trick, whether it's the right trick for you or not, the faction's just going to be a great skate where you might land more of your grinds.
Hmm.
If you don't want to bend a lot into some of these positions. So for me, certain times where I get into positions on some of these skates that maybe aren't supportive enough, it might feel like I'm doing the trick, but it
Gotcha.
doesn't look like I'm doing the trick.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is that related to that note, learn bad habits from non-optimal setups, or is that even about sizing? And what was that note?
I don't actually remember that one. Learned
Learned bad habits from non-optimal setups.
learned bad
You
habits.
don't have to go anymore on that one. I related that to
Giving it a
fact.
good think. Um,
Are we talking even a Royale angle? What are we talking about?
I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd have to think about that one. Maybe we follow up on that. I'm sure I had a point, but
Unless you were talking about like the bot, like if your skate is fucking up your foot, like if you're downsizing your skate,
oh
and related to your ski, going to a ski boot fitter. I'm not sure if it was related to that one or not.
yeah, I don't know what the specific one was on that. Um, because in I could think of a couple like examples of a non-optimal setup. Um, so yeah, I'd have to think on that. But the ski boot fitter experience was kind of interesting, and again dovetails with the 901 thing in that like yeah, basically I found this amazing guy who works for like the USA has worked for USA ski team members. Boot fitter guy runs it in like a mobile trailer out front of his house and just showed me the whole how he does it and gave me ideas for how I can do it myself and had a history with inline skates in the past and worked with Nick Gepper, who's like a half pipe ski specialist and maybe has I think has had kind of a storied career in skiing and did a lot of like cross training with inline skates. Um, Knew a lot about different plastics. Yeah, it was a very interesting, like side quest, uh, and great to relate with someone who has some context for what we do in his own way. It's nice to meet people like that, for which it feels like we're less alone. Um, but as it relates, and so yeah, I had like four different pairs of 909s punched out for width primarily. Um, And then I got the 901s, and they were more comfortable for me than any of the my custom punched 909s. Um, so yeah, uh, it,
Oh, I can talk about that Shane comment fucking me up. I'm swearing a lot tonight.
it's yeah. I'm kind of leading you there, I think.
So Shane posted a comment about how I still can't recite it back properly, but the medium 909 was too big. The medium 901 was too big. The medium Broskow
Right.
901 was too small.
Yep.
And the medium, or the medium 901 with the PP plastic, right,
Perfect.
was a perfect fit.
Yep.
And I'm like, in my head, I was like, I can't read this comment right now. I can't. Like, I thought I was getting out of this. And then my brain goes, you might have to order the Schmedium
Right.
901. It might be.
It's fucking it's Paulie from The Sopranos, where he does the just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
That one did it
Yep.
because also, like, does he have access to? Is he close to a shop?
He goes to them skates.
Okay,
He lives in LA, but in Santa Ana's like 45 minutes or something, I think.
yeah. So that level of fit checking, I hadn't even considered. I hadn't even considered that the two materials would have fit differently. The medium Broskow 901
Yep.
and the regular 901.
Yeah, it has changed a little bit of my. I just got fitted for the Wizard boot by Stu Brady the other day, which was it was cool to have Stu fit me for a skate. Um, and both my feeling in the nine. Okay, so like 901 sturdier. I can tie my skates more loosely and feel a native like support of the boot sufficient that I don't need to feel it on me so much. I actually feel like I've had a number of cues in the past couple years that I need to reduce my feeling of constant feedback from the boot. So I've gone like I went from tight laced liners all the way up to the top to loosely laced liners to liners with no laces to like a very from a tight very tight buckle to a snug but forgiving buckle tightness. And now my lace strategy is basically to like allow some upward movement of the foot so that it can breathe and basically like just a cinch enough tightness at the top. I also appreciate the lacing. The new lacing setup on the 901 is more forgiving in that the eyelets don't go as high, and to me it feels like a more natural amount of movement that the lace height doesn't impede on the forward flex of the cuff. Um, and the Wizard boot had a similar feeling, which anyone who's ridden CJs, to my sensibility, will CJs feel like they're just like patched together, by like
Yeah.
they're just like it's enough material in enough places that somehow it feels almost like a skate. When you put a Wizard skate on, you're like, oh my God, those things were pieces of fucking trash. Um, the Wizard skate is like so far superior to whatever the CJs were for that purpose. Yeah, like I similarly felt like I used to tie my CJs like, I had like 108-inch laces on them or something, and I'd go from the bottom all the way to the top and lace the liner, and they still felt like shit. Um, Whereas like I put a Wizard skate on loose, and I could feel again the native support of the boot. The way the carbon wraps up, and I was like, I could rely on the structure of this boot alone. Um, Also in like skate context, there's been a lot of discussion around this through Montreal Canadiens defenseman Lane Hudson. You might be familiar with him, Joey.
No, but I'm interested.
So this guy is like, up and coming defenseman, Canadian defenseman, and not a giant guy, but he's like a goal scoring defenseman and is very competent physically. And his skating, he skates very almost bizarrely for a hockey player. But there's a lot of accounts of his dad basically like at the end of hockey practice or at the end of the games, his dad would make him skate either with no laces in his skates or with his skates like incredibly loose. The logic of which, I guess, to have him understand the edges and rely less on like, your foot being a cast. So I would encourage both you, Joey, anyone who's a hockey fan of any kind or people who are interested in skating mechanics, check out this guy Lane Hudson, and just observe how he moves. And I'd also encourage, like, I think there's a difference between a loose skate for skating purposes and a Demetrius George non-strap for like ankle tweaking purposes. I'm more interested in the first one. Your mileage may vary on the second one and how interested you are in different grind poses, but I think there's a middle ground there that doesn't sacrifice powerful connection with what you're doing physically, and doesn't over prioritize your poses.
Damn, I never have heard of that as a hockey training tool.
The first I'd heard of it too.
Yeah, but such a cool idea.
Yeah.
And I also there's something about a skate rolling well if you're just in the parking lot.
Yep.
Sometimes you just go for a quick, like, I don't know, 5-second roll without your skates done up. And you sometimes know the way the base and the frame of the skate feels, that you get a better idea sometimes of like how much you want to lace it up, or like how tight you want to lace it up and how much you want the cuff. And it that actually has value now that I've heard that somebody's dad made them. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Like, do you ever do that with your skates? Just
I could
for some reason,
absolutely.
you just roll with them not done up. I don't know what that is.
To me, I talked about this a little bit when I first started writing thems, because the them, especially with a them frame on it, to me felt it had the skateboard effect,
Yeah.
which is when you step on, when you step on a skateboard on smooth pavement and you can feel that it's ready to move in any direction. Like it's a very responsive, it can be a very responsive condition. And with the right skate setup, I believe you should have that feeling. The opposite feeling, right, is like an Aeon with a busted up shock absorber that just feels like you're stepping into like a bowl of pasta. Um, yeah. So that's what we don't want. We want that feeling of like, yeah, I could almost skate this skate not snug. I don't think it's the singular condition that we need, but I think it's one that's worth toying with.
All
Um,
of
yeah.
yeah, all of my last best aggressive, whatever you want to call it. What are we calling it? I don't know. Grind sessions.
It's just
Lo-
skating,
My
whatever.
last skating sessions,
Yeah.
uh, all good on yeah, the them frame flat.
Nice. Yeah.
Delivers pretty much every time for that thing that you were talking about when I test skates. I'm looking for things that just for general skating around experience, it's really good. And then I used to think weight mattered. It doesn't. If it's distributed properly across the frame and the
Yeah.
hardware is really good and the frame rolls flat and nothing's warped, like those things they roll flat. They don't seem warped. The hardware is good. You can put it on a worse skate, like a worse boot, and improve the rolling experience of that boot.
Yes. I actually think that might be one of the more underutilized components of that frame in particular. Like, I watched Eric skate M12s with those frames, and it shores up the bottom of that boot like insanely. Um, yeah, it's a really good tool. I agree. In most cases, I think the weight only starts to seem to matter when you're starting to do, like true spin topside,
Oh yeah,
kind of, more precise stuff. But even then, I think it works in almost all cases.
yeah. I'm not going true spin topside in terms of not working against my skates or body. I'm not doing true spin topsides.
That's cool.
Actually, true spin topsides and cam loops is just it's not something that ever happens.
That is that is interesting. I hadn't really considered that. But looking back, I've watched a lot of cam loops.
Yeah.
That seems true.
Well, there was that period where people were apologizing for things in the entertainment industry, and it would be like a white text on black, and I that was one of the posts that
Yeah,
it led to admitting that we can't do true spin topsides was the idea of that joke.
that's a
That
good bit.
yeah, but now I can't do a real apology now that I've used that one up.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's important not to apologize because then it's clear that you've done something wrong.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was more. Yeah, I guess it was a more of an admittance than anything else.
Yeah, yeah, I got it.
Um, okay, so we still have to talk before we go about there's too many brands.
Yeah.
It's a big topic. There's really no solution for it. There's no way everybody's just going to agree that these are the brands to support. And on Patreon, as a joke, I think maybe a couple years ago, I had a brand death tracker, and it's actually turned into the brand birth tracker that people post when there's like a new skate from the Chinese factory or something. That's
Right. Like,
that.
Mr. Joey updates the birth tracker.
So I have to rename that one, but it just seems like when I thought it was already oversaturated, we're oversaturated again.
Yeah.
And I even thought Rose's at one point was I don't know. I thought there was points where like in 2025, maybe we wouldn't have roses or razors, or we got everybody still,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
more, and more.
and more. All right. Um, I feel like I'm going to dominate this conversation a little bit. I'm curious if you have things that feel present right off before I. I don't want to run away with this because I think this is where we get into like a mildly conspiratorial territory, and we start heading into some things that are outside our like nexus of control as skaters and supporters and representers.
I only have to say that I didn't expect there to be almost 20 brands of skates. I think maybe is the number we're getting close to do grinds in. And it's not like the way it was before when we had like Solomon and K2, and I don't know, there was a distinct feeling between the brands when
Yeah,
we had I don't know. It's the opposite of that. It's getting to the point where things are just going to be so saturated that it's like putting a couple, just putting some drops of milk in a glass of water and saying that it's milk. It's like you can't even really grab onto anything anymore.
yeah.
That's my only point to start it off.
Okay,
That
cool.
like we're just going to keep multiplying, and I made a joke once like everybody's going to be on a team and getting free product at some
Correct.
point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what. Yeah, I think that's one of the overarching. Like, there are parts of this conversation that I think often go into a really juvenile, like, well, you got to support this because this is the real one. This is the, and it's like, no one, it's like talking yourself into loving someone or something like that. Like, it's not how it works. Like, I, this whole thing is about some kind of like freedom, right? Like the joy that the reason that we're still talking about this is like, we should have died in a trench somewhere by now, Joey. We shouldn't have the freedom to be, talking about our silly wheelie boots, but here we are.
True.
So with that in mind, I think that there are some things that are our duty to protect, which is like you got to be able to make decisions and use something that like suits your body. Also, we are in this weird new territory where it has never been easier to start a direct to consumer brand. And I don't just mean this inside of skating. Like since we set a time for this meeting, I have been just fucking inundated with the reality that like across multiple industries, like certain types of shoes I end up looking at, wide toe box shoes, zero drop shoes, barefoot shoes, niche, their own versions of niche things. And like my all of my feeds are indicating that there are like 7 to 14 new brands with a shoe that is in a pre-sale launch state that needs your support. And I have no information to back up how large those individual like product zones are and the kind of numbers that they move. But I mean, there's enough information in skating alone to indicate that the paths to injection plastic manufacturing, like from China, who has a stranglehold on that kind of manufacturing, I just think that they're relying on. I suspect they're capable of relying on volume as a means of inviting people into the fray, and whatever else they've done to make efficiencies in manufacturing to allow more people to get in, um, and not have $100,000 like base charges for any molds that are being modified or built or whatever else. And so, your point that was a joke, right? That we'll all have every one of our buddies will have a brand. Um, I mean, it's tending in that comical direction, right? Like it forces you to ask, like, what's the fucking point of a brand? You know what? And then you have to get kind of specific, um, which I'm trying to think about how I say this without sounding like too self-aware or something. But uh, the timeline that I feel like I belong to in this culture, right, all stems back to a certain kind of street skating, for which like John is like the kind of last. He's like the last keystone that like draws all of these forces together, ties all of this history together, and it's it's weird to start to consider like what happens outside of that, or like, yeah, like um I'm trying to point out that it feels strange for me to say like how important I am finding that, because as an individual I generally like try not to rely on, this is too much information about me, but I try not to rely on almost anyone else to sort of like uh, hinge my emotional state on, or like I don't find myself relying on other people for almost anything. Um, and yeah, it's a strange thing to consider, like, you know, the challenges of running a brand in this current ecosystem, which is, that is to say specifically, like a kind of depressed market. And to go wider, like it's pretty clear that we're in like a global financial slide towards some combination of inflation and depression. Um, and yeah, you start to, the whole thing starts to come into question, right? Of like how much of this whole thing relied on other companies selling products on our backs, right? Like fucking, like every, like the industry can almost stay afloat, but it needs Slim Jim there. It needs Mountain Dew there. It needs all these other little facets to stay woven together. And the challenge of being a professional skater now is basically impossible. Um, I mean, I would wonder what the actual number of people who are making a living on skating right now. Yeah, I think we've entered sort of this like we were talking about this before our call a little bit, right? But like this idea of like being in the inverse condition, um, being in this, like, you know, to borrow from Stranger Things or whatever, right? Being in like this upside down, um, where yeah, people reviewing skate stuff in skateboard land might have more influence than, you know, whoever's got the cover of Thrasher. Um, yeah, and the what these sort of movement activities mean to the culture seems less, it's less interesting. It moves the needle less for product than it did in the 90s and early 2000s. Some of that is good news in that it always points back to the truth, which is like these activities are for the enthusiasts and they're for the practitioners. Um, but it's going to it's not clear to me that those industries can survive in their current state just by selling product, you know, just by selling the product that's sufficient to keep people going, you know, like I don't know, tennis has tennis balls and racket stringing and rackets or something sufficient that they can have, and you know, whatever, tennis training fees, or yeah, I think we're at our own, we're at odds with ourselves, I think. and I'm not certain we're asking the right questions yet about what's necessary to survive. Or this is where I'll get a little bit personal in that, like, I feel biased towards this timeline that I'm discussing, uh, and there are many people for whom that timeline doesn't matter, which is totally okay. I'm just this is a place where I can very capably recognize my bias. Like, I came from this school of skating, and um, there's a part of me that's interested in like keeping its heart beating, which informs a lot of what I do. But I don't think I've ever felt that beating heart so at odds with current circumstances, both globally and within skating itself. Yeah, I think that's a long enough rant.
Well, yeah, up in Canada, there's lots of strikes, lots of layoffs.
Right, your post office has had like 3 strikes, right, or something like
Yeah,
crazy the last couple months.
yeah, record deficit for our province. I think record deficit for the country. Um, Even where I work, the higher education crisis because of immigration, they capped immigration, and colleges and universities were making cheddar off of international students for a
Yeah,
long time,
totally.
and massive, massive job losses. Oh, and then on top of that, AI replacing jobs. What is higher education going to be? There's
Yeah,
all of the like all of it seems to be coming to a head, and then it's interesting following our little volunteer work skate industry
right.
where we shouldn't even have, I don't know, we shouldn't have ten brands. We should maybe have like five. But
Yeah,
there's no council. There's no elder council of rollerblading brands. There's no, not everybody's going to agree. Okay, we want these ones to
yeah,
be getting all of the profits, and the profits are probably getting thinner and thinner and thinner.
very clearly.
We don't even know who, we kind of like, you and I might know who's like, we watch the YouTube reviews, or we, we're getting older, but I said in the Patreon video, and I don't know if I'm wrong on this one, but if skating was going to get big, it would have happened already,
Hmm.
right? Because that was the thing. It was, well, when it gets big again, and we kind of saw that in COVID,
Yep,
and that's already dipped.
yep.
Um, so I don't know. We're kind of in new territory where what are we going to do? Or like, our dad's going to keep buying 5 different pairs of skates from 5 different brands. Like, I'll apologize in advance right now for uh, adding to this mess, but I just wanted to try some of the new brands. But I don't know. Like, I was even asking the question, like, do I have a responsibility to only skate certain brands? I don't think that would change anything.
No, I mean, I think you have to remember like how you've always been on, like everything that you've said has been honest to my sensibility. Like you're not like, gee whiz, these are just the best. You wouldn't believe how good the Cougar skates are. I'm just jazzed. Fucking. Uh, This is where the conversation gets almost political, right? Because in my experience, uh, the answer to like the question about being able to speak about something is to speak about it more. Like um, to add more conversation. Broaden the horizons of freedom of speech around it, rather than feeling like, oh, we couldn't possibly tell the right. It's actually not even that interesting, because it's not like you went and tried a flying eagle and you were like, guys, I went into enemy territory. I picked up a pair of Flying Eagles, and I am hard. I'm I am throbbing in my pants right now for these Flying Eagle skates. Like that never happened. I've watched every review. I'm a mushroom blading super fan, and I would be thrilled also if you ever announced that about a skate. But the findings are disappointing. Like all the skates are the fucking same. Most of them suck. Um, it's not your it's not your responsibility to promote anything. Um, and I just don't see it as being like being complicit in something like by talking about by trying certain skates. Um, and it makes me curious how other industries accomplish this. Like it just makes me start to ask questions about um like for instance in say like bicycle helmets. This isn't a perfect analogy, but bicycle helmets rely on a in recent years a standardization known as MIPS that has to do with the how effective the helmet is for impact, which I'm sure there are all sorts of annoying, like overbearing governmental bureaucratic horse shit that come with that kind of thing. But I'm just curious how other industries or disciplines have a certain, like their version of an elder council, right? Which, like, I would imagine in places where where there's actually some sort of incentive to be involved, those places just like that just gets all sorted out by people who have gobs and gobs of money, forcing out the little people. Um, but I suspect there's some kind of middle ground where, yeah, basically the free market is sort of failing us in this one, in that the product the product selection is increasingly offering a race to the bottom on price point, that ignores the people who are genuine actors in our midst and historically important people. um and it does beg, yeah, like that's where shops can provide their editorial lens on what's necessary to carry, what's important to carry, but that's never going to be accomplished on like Amazon or something like that. uh so yeah, it's hard to feel, I find it pretty hard to feel optimistic. um I would say the silver lining that feels present to me comes back to this idea of, skating being about the practitioner and about the enthusiast, and further that it's like it's an act that happens in the body. um and that's something that like can't be taken away by shifting sands of like what gear we use. um so I think two things are happening. I'm feeling like we're coming up on the end of an epoch of skating that involves, familiar faces and familiar ways of doing things, or really some things that deserve to be celebrated. Like we have people approaching 40, beyond 40, who are skating the best that they ever were for fucking nothing. Like
Yeah.
there are some people doing heroic shit. Some of the best skating that has ever happened is happening now. And yeah, I don't know what to do with that exactly, other than like tell your friends you love them, or tell the people that you admire that you love them and you value what they're doing. Uh, or figure out ways to support what they're doing. Um, or just shit. Like honestly, one of the things that like skateability has taught me in my process of like just the way that I feel compelled to act as a skater, um, is how important enthusiasm is. and how starved so many people are for enthusiasm, and like how fucking little it takes just to see something that you recognize as useful or necessary or good, and just saying it in doesn't need to be an overly dramatic way, but just like making sure, especially if you know what you're doing, you've been doing this for a long enough time that your voice has, for whatever reason, has some developed some level of value. Like you have to, you got to lift some people up with you, um, because in most cases, like this currency or whatever, like it doesn't matter fucking anywhere else but here. No one. Yeah, I don't know how many times you guys have been asked, like, oh, so like, you're at a party and someone asks, what do you do? And you try to explain your fucking fake exercise project, alter ego, guy in a flap hat. They're like, what? How are you? Did you just get out of prison? Or like, are you homeless? Um, yeah, so just remember, like, this most of this stuff is just our own little weird little world, and I think the thing that we are, in many ways, it calls into question like our whole crisis project, which has been sort of situated in the margins, right, where we're like, guys, we need a little more cuff wrap, we need a little lower ride height. It's not that hard, it's not too much to ask. Whereas now I actually think the thing that we're sliding towards is like, just be glad you have skates if you can, and like, try to have a good time. uh yeah, because it just feels like so many, this is maybe the negative crux of this portion of the crisis, but like it just feels like so many things in our world are in question right now. And I think a lot of the things that we're suffering from, they feel like the familiar fight that we've been in as rollerbladers, but they probably actually have a lot to do with, more to do with the shifting face of how and why incredibly rich people make increasingly more and more money each year at the hands of like hardworking people, and us just being another cog in that wheel. So I guess I feel called to try and find like meaning within the given situation rather than trying to eke out the ideal skate that I'll never get anyway. Um, yeah.
I think we're at the possibly the end of the obsession with product era.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the takeaway. Like we've got what we've got, and it's I mean, also like that's too negative a take. There are lots of people that are really trying to make good skates, even ones that I haven't tried. Like shout out to everybody trying to make better skates.
But maybe even slow it down too. Like a skate once a year? Once every 1.5 years?
Yeah. Oh, that's
Once every 2 years? And then maybe they're more expensive. Maybe when you really need skates. I don't know.
I am pretty tired of the color dance. Like I would kind of prefer, like, hey, they're black and white and they'll be available. We're going to do a 4-year window where, we'll do runs of 500 every so often or whatever. But like, rather than this kind of like, what's it going to be? What are they spinning Oh, it's a blue one again. Yes.
I know. And then we all act like bots.
I know.
Like, sick. Congratulations.
Yes.
Well deserved.
Blue is what's up. Blue is the what's up.
Apparently, yeah, it's gonna be blue. Blue
Yeah.
is the the thing.
Also, I think it's
Oh,
weird.
sorry. It was also really depressing that Billy on Jump Street said that he had to have the Mesmer warehouse sale to get enough money to pay the tariffs to get their new skate, and was like something that it's just insane to hear that on a rollerblading podcast.
God. Well, yeah. Shout out to him for fucking making that happen. Uh, yeah. The tariff situation is like almost impossible to talk about.
Yeah, we won't go there, but I'm just saying like it's a thing that I wouldn't have expected to hear in this dystopian hell that we slowly got ourselves into.
Yeah, this cliff that we're sliding down.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
I had one more point too. Oh, and also the brand saturation thing. It's not even the good version of it, where like before the market was saturated, but at least there was exciting teams and ad budgets and people were getting paid a lot. This is like the way worse version where it's just more brands, more saturation, less defined brands. It's just kind of feeling like, it's just slowly kind of just flattening out.
yes, though I also want to recognize like that I suck and am stupid in that like a Rosa's video came out that has like I know I'm gonna like Yuto's section. I know I will. I have not watched it. Like there's a team that's like credit to Roses in it. At least they're like they're trying to do their thing.
Yes.
You know what? It doesn't speak to me because I should be, I should be eating like cream of wheat out of a coffee cup in a like in a strip mall retirement home in central New Jersey or something. Um, but yeah, they have a sort of vision that they're going for, and I really wanted to come into this, Joey, and not sort of berate myself for being like an out of touch, um, non-porous actor within this culture. But it feels really hard. Like it feels really hard to not just feel like alienated with almost everything. And I think a place that we used to go for, again, this is a fucking boomer take, right? Of just like, man, when skate videos used to be skate videos, it was like
Yep.
so much more sick. But like, where where is it? Where's the like, where's like the town square for this stuff? I think the in-person events are really good. Um, I think the people that are organizing the in-person events, many of which I haven't attended, like namely Capital Rollers Jam in the UK, and what's the Copenhagen one?
Oh, that one looked amazing.
That looks so sick. I really, really, really want to go this year. I think those happen like one weekend away from one another, and I'd really love to figure out how to attend both of those because um, I think a future that makes sense to me and is happening is like competitions don't like uh drive don't like blow my skirt up exactly, but in-person events that have more participation involved in them, more participatory things, like more workshops, more. I just see like everything moving toward the support of the enthusiast. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and well, because I mean, the word enthusiasm is in enthusiast.
Joey, great callback.
Enthusiasm naturally happens at events like that.
You can't have an enthusiast without some enthusiasm.
This is true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Which that is a positive spin on it. And that's how all this shit started too. from the
Yeah.
very beginning. It was one brand of skates that wasn't even meant to do this thing, and it was enthusiasts getting together.
Yeah, and like yeah, probably the bravest of all of us, right? I mean, imagine what people were saying to them, you know? Yeah, imagine like, there's stories of those like, B3 or B3 events or whatever where it's like Matt Hoffman, Tony Hawk, and like some schmohawk, right? Like fucking yeah, imagine like Brooke Howard Smith or somebody like doing um, a demo with those guys. Uh, and no disrespect, well, I guess some disrespect to Brooke Howard Smith, the most notorious like crypto pump and dump fucking shit hawk of our culture. Yeah. Or like it's really like a very exciting opportunity to like try to sell like NFTs to skaters who already don't have any money. Yeah, whatever. Fuck you, Brooke. Um, yeah. This I we went too dark here.
Yeah, we don't have to go there. Arlo does
Um,
go into more detail about how all of that turned out on the Rollerblading is Still Fun podcast if anybody's interested.
oh, he did. He looped that one around.
Yeah, yeah, there's a continuation of that story. Yeah.
Oh, I'd
And he
love
was
to.
very honest about it, so recommended if anybody's interested in that because that was the most bizarre Jump Street episode. But we won't say anything more
I'll say
about.
one more thing.
Okay.
If somebody wants to just clip the portion where Arlo goes, I truly believe I was born for this moment to fucking sling bullshit NFTs for money to like a number of broken men. You know, yeah. Anyway, just clip that and start an Instagram account that's like Arlo Daily and just run that
Run
over.
that one. Have you ever had a moment where one of the people who helped pioneer the sport with Arlo, it's like so there was he got into CrossFit, which is fine or whatever, and then NFTs, and then it's like, damn, did I like get roped into something with rollerblading that's like related to NFTs and CrossFit, like the other pursuits of Arlo?
Yeah.
Like, is that what did aggressive inline hit in a way that those ones didn't? I guess CrossFit got really big and NFTs did too. But I'm like, do I believe in it like some people believe in those things? I don't know. That it's too big of a question. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I
That
know
like
exactly.
because
I
he's
can
very good at talking about anything.
Oh, he's a very gifted man.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I actually think that he's like Agent Smith in the Matrix, and we're all just like the battery people. Like fueling the simulacrum that we all live in. So I recognize that he's the main character, and we're all just little Matrix goop.
Yeah, because even when he was talking about the Church of Skepticism, and when he talks about skepticism, I mean, just makes an amazing case. And I think his church thing could get quite big based off of how good he is at talking.
No, I think that's a great outlet for some of his gifts.
Yeah. Anyways, that's a side note. There's
Yeah,
I wanted to ask, is Dawncast coming back in any form
yeah,
or
yeah.
okay.
Dawncast will be back, and I'll announce some details on that, which I think will be a. I think I'll probably just drop some stuff coming soon. Um, yeah, I'd rather just lead with what it is than explain the concept. I think it'll be more fun. But yeah, expect to see some stuff um, from at least to start from me and certain individuals that I want to talk with. But thank you for asking about that. Yeah, it's John and I had some plans to do some other episodes, like catching up on a number of individual things that happened, and it's funny to have this episode feel like landing where we are because this has also been like a very remarkable year for me as a person involved in skating, where People have helped me get to events and promoted what I do and believes in what I do in a way completely distinct from any other year that I've been involved in skating. So it's very worth me recognizing, like, um, yeah, thanks to fucking everybody who comes to skateability class, who asks me questions, who's joined the Patreon, who's come to workshops, who expresses any interests, who shares positive feedback, positive or constructive feedback on anything that I'm doing. Um, Fucking John for taking, John and them skates for getting me out to events. My buddy Dustin Rasick, who helped me with airfare multiple times. Um, yeah, I have a commonly critical lens on what's going on because I love our thing. It's like um, it's the part of getting older and loving skating is that some days feel so powerful and precious because of how rare they can feel in a certain part of your life that expects you to be like a fucking dental hygienist or something clear and obvious. Um, and also the like relief and freedom that comes with being able to move your body in this way. And then some days feel like, holy shit, dude, you missed the boat and the boat left 20 years ago.
I had a couple of those.
2-0. Yeah. And so being able to navigate those swings is a lot. What was your most recent like volatile boat missing example?
Oh, what was it? Damn, there was one where I came back to the office and Todd was like, "Did you have a good?" It's very bizarre that Todd sits in the same office as me now, which is a strange, extremely strange turn of events where we're just clicking on keyboards in a quiet office. But I came back after a session.
Hold on a second. That is such a like in the dramatization of the mushroom blading story. When they make the mushroom blading anime is what I mean. And it's not the end, but it would make a beautiful end to just see you two in an office building clacking away. You're like, hey, did you go skate on your lunch? And you don't look up or anything, but you're like, nah. Like, did you go skate? And he's like, nah, not really.
I came back from a session. It's bizarre. We actually didn't even know how to interact properly for the first while. Because it's like he was inside that he was in the part of my life that he's not supposed to be that close, you know?
I got it. Yeah.
That the work and family is quite separate from the skating world. So yeah, he was also you're on probation as a union employee or whatever. But I think there was a couple times over the past while where I went skating by myself. Can't remember what setup. And I think I told him I feel worse about skating than before I started skating. I can't remember what it was, but some that actually ruined the rest of the day. They were so bad that I would have been better off not skating than skating.
Interesting.
And I can't remember what setup it was.
Yeah, I think
I texted you a couple times. I had some struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion for like an assignment for you in 2026.
I'm into it.
I think you should pick a single skate. Like or maybe two at the most, like big wheel and aggressive. A single pair of either and get rid of everything else. Or put it in a storage unit or send it to me and I'll hold it or something.
I have thought about this. Didn't I say I was going to do this in my own way, that I wanted to get rid of everything and just have 2 or 3? And then I came close and then more stuff came out. But I love this idea. I know what the answers are currently.
Wizard and 909?
Yeah, but there's an in-between skate that still doesn't exist that I like as well.
80.
80, 70, like the Rose's 1992, Aeon 72, Aeon 80, Lightning 72, like
Yeah.
something simple and nimble, and you can skate like a hockey player in them, do a couple grinds. I don't, yeah. Although the 909, I can kind of get that, but it's not the same thing. So,
Yeah.
because Wizards on one side. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. I mean, I just think we all want to see you put out a section in Mars Blades. Because you look so fucking sick in Mars Blades.
Hockey skates look really good.
Oh man, they look really cool.
Something about a white riveted sole frame, like the base of it, the way the base of it looks.
So good, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder what a like appropriately set up. I like. Excuse me. I actually thought pretty seriously about this last time. Not this 2 times ago when I went to Shop Task. I picked up like the fancy current like Mission hockey inline skate, and it's so comically light. Like it's just so comically well made and awesome, and it just made me wonder like has anyone actually tried to like make a hockey skate, make a hockey boot aggressive?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think it's happened. But I mean, like Adapt is not far afield, in my experience from how they function. But yeah, I'm curious what that would be like.
I still dream of a part coming out of some kid in hockey skates that is, but I don't know what it would look like. I do still think that side of skating's underdeveloped, and I don't even know what it is. It's not necessarily big wheel urban wizard. It's not necessarily aggressive. Maybe it has grinds. I don't know.
Yeah, it like
It's when I skate the Rosas 1992. It's like you can do kind of grinds. You can do wheel slides. I guess I can do that in Wizards as well. But there's something about the lower ride height in the Lightning 70, like 72s.
it's also that like plastic. Every time I see a person jumping on Wizards, I'm like, stop. Like, and not like little. I mean, like taking impact on Wizards, and it's just like.
I know what you mean. Yeah, there's a certain way to do it that, yeah.
I mean, I even felt this when I rode like Solas, or I rode those Master Blade frames for a while that were actually amazing for certain things, but like they take impact so brutally bad. Metal frames underfoot like just do not. It doesn't work from an impact standpoint.
I'm going to go on record saying that I think the biggest fumble that I wish would have happened is if them 80s were a price point Wizard collab skate. I thought that would have been incredible. I feel like there's something there on like a price point plastic skate. I guess them 80s. I just need to try them 80s, but there's something about that plastic skate that you can jump around in, do wheel slides in, maybe a couple grinds. It's not Wizard. And it's not aggressive, and it's in between.
Yeah, and like has a natural rocker kind of thing.
Not even. No, it could be flat because the Rose's Night. If the frame is like 260, the frame doesn't have to be super long.
Yeah,
it's just kind of it would wear in a natural rocker. Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's what everything started out on the Lightnings, but I don't want to get into the weeds on that one.
No, that would be really cool. Beautiful. Put a beautiful intuition, like Wizard them crossover.
I'll skate the shit out of that.
Yeah, you would skate the shit
because I apologize to everybody like skating Rose's 1992 and Lightnings. I apologize for skating those skates. They're really good. There's nothing like them.
There's 72 millimeter wheels on them?
On the Lightnings or the Roses?
The Roses.
76.
76. That's nice.
So I feel like those sizes are underrated. Because
I think
80s
so
are big.
too.
80s are big.
Yeah, 80s are big.
72s became 80s over the years, and 80s are big. They're still taller than you think. There's and before we go, do we want to talk any? There was a roller skating note here. I don't know if we want to talk.
I don't care.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay.
It's a stupid detail about a stupid company.
Okay. We don't need those stupid details about the stupid company. Okay.
Yeah, you're on your own. Roller skates. Figure it out.
Okay. Sounds good. And that's it. I was frozen for most of it, but Ben, thank you.
Form a rage circle, guys. Skateability 6. Form a rage circle. Yep.
Okay. Until 7. I am waving right now.